All right, last but not least, let's go ahead and just wrap through last week's episodes of WWE's Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. And we'll kind of put it all together because mostly what I like, it was the fallout from the Royal Rumble, but it mostly just involved Edge. I like how Edge was like the drifter who traveled to Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown. Yep. He was like this thread, the connective tissue to all three shows this week. It was almost like, to me, he had like the vibe of like an old cowboy who would just show up to a different city and, you know, assess the situation and get involved. So I really enjoyed all three episodes in that aspect of what Edge brought to the table.
He was basically like a hunter stalking his prey.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just talk about Monday Night Raw first and what happened with Edge on that episode. So Drew McIntyre comes out, starts cutting a promo. Edge comes out, and they start going back and forth. And, you know, Drew's just giving him a lot of praise and thanking him for being there when they got started years ago in wrestling and being like a mentor, all that good stuff. Edge called out Drew and said, dude, don't you get it? You're the WWE champion. I'm the guy that won the Royal Rumble. I could potentially be coming after you for that title.
Yeah.
Why are you being so nice to me? You should not be treating me so nice. You should be, just as ferocious to take me out. And he said, no matter who he picks for the championship, his goal is to walk out of WrestleMania as a champion. And so he was putting Drew McIntyre, trying to wake him up, get his senses together.
Or as Roddy Piper would say, give him a reality check.
Yeah. And then so Sheamus comes out and adds his 2 cents. And then Edge told Drew McIntyre, dude, with the WWE Championship, you have a big target on your back. And, be careful. And so then Edge walks out of the ring. Sheamus and Drew are standing there. Drew walks towards the ropes. Sheamus starts walking behind him. Drew turns around and bam! Sheamus bro kicks him in the face and beats him up. And I was like, oh my God, no! Sheamus turned heel and beat up Drew. So, Richard, your thoughts on Sheamus turning heel on his best friend?
I mean, we saw it coming because it's one of those things that this is something I will be critical of WWE on, is they seemingly keep doing this thing of all of a sudden someone's best friend. And it's just like, I've never seen those two people together before. And it's just kind of like, I mean, however, with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, I do know for a fact that they do go super far back because they both got picked up based off of some matches they had in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, they do have history, and I mean, they're both from, well, obviously, Drew.
But it's just who was it? On NXT, they were doing that with someone like every other month. It was their best friend. No, Candace was best friends with Tony Storm. Candace was best friends with so and so.
Candace and the girl who had the knee injury again.
Tegan Knox.
Tegan Knox. Yeah, she's like friends with everyone on that roster at one point.
Best friends.
Best friends. So it is kind of used a lot as a crutch to, I guess, get a story over. Is that they're best friends. Listen, I'm with you. We all saw this coming, but I just felt it was kind of way too out of nowhere. There was no actual the build was not there. I don't know. It was just like, okay. I think Sheamus is a better heel than a babyface, and he's been kind of a tweener as of late. And I know him and Drew had the little backstage scruffle not too long ago, and then they kind of hugged it out after the commercials. And then, Keith Lee was questioning Sheamus that he was going to go after Drew. So, I mean, I guess there was Easter eggs over the last couple months, but it still felt just like out of nowhere, like, oh, here we are. Elimination Chamber's coming up in a couple weeks. We got to start building up something. So I just felt it was kind of forced, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just a little hesitant. I was like, I don't know. I kind of wish there was a better or proper build to it at some point.
Yeah.
In some way for that.
Better angle.
Also, we saw Edge walking through the backstage area, and we saw him approach Damian Priest. And Damian Priest had a big night. So last week was his first episode on Monday Night Raw after debuting on the main roster for the Royal Rumble. We saw him talking to Bad Bunny. So they're both speaking Spanish backstage. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, so Bad Bunny appears on Miz TV, and it looks like Miz and Morrison wanted to collaborate with Bad Bunny, but he turned him down. And then he comes out for their match for was it Miz versus Damian Priest. So his first match on the main roster, which was kind of cool. And then Bad Bunny gets involved, hits Morrison with the microphone, and so it looks like Damian Priest and Bad Bunny are kind of teaming up, and Miz and Morrison against them. So I don't know if this is going to lead to a WrestleMania match at some point. Most
likely.
I know WWE wants Bad Bunny to be part of WrestleMania in some capacity just because he has a huge online following, appeals to that younger demographic. So we'll wait and see. But so Damian Priest picks up the victory.
You should look at the WWE YouTube views for the Bad Bunny clips compared to the other views on YouTube for WWE for the same shows.
Yeah, then they've done way more.
That's why Bad Bunny's there.
Exactly. And if you look at
2 million for each video.
I think on Instagram he has like 30 million followers, and he only follows WWE on Instagram. So I think
there you go.
For WWE, this is a big investment for them. So after Damian Priest picks up his victory over The Miz, we see Edge walking backstage, and we see Damian Priest standing there, and he goes up to Damian Priest and congratulated him and welcomed him to Monday Night Raw and shook his hand, congratulated also his performance at the Royal Rumble. So a lot of people were comparing that same moment to when The Undertaker gave his blessings to John Cena after his match against Kurt Angle, his debut. So, Richard, do you think that's a fair comparison between the two, Damian Priest and Edge, and Undertaker and John Cena?
No.
Really?
No. I mean, Undertaker holds so much weight. That's like Austin, Rock, Undertaker all are in like their own league. I mean, it's a good nod to have, but it's still like not like an icon like those guys.
Exactly. I'm with you because I was like, yeah, it's similar as far as a veteran endorsing like the new person. But John Cena at the time was in his mid-20s, and Undertaker at that point was already a Hall of Famer, probably his early 40s at that point. Edge and Damian Priest, they're actually pretty close in age. I think Damian Priest is 38, and Edge is mid-40s. So they're kind of closer in age. So it's just, while I see the comparisons, but it's still nowhere close. But nonetheless, I think it's still a very cool moment for Damian Priest to get the kudos from Edge. So hopefully by doing so, he kind of give a little bit of a rub, and maybe that will give a lot of the WWE Universe a reason to maybe start cheering for Damian Priest, especially if they didn't watch him on the regular on NXT. So no, good for him. And then last but not least for Edge, so he was walking through the backstage area because he was getting ready for his match with Randy Orton, which I don't know about you, but they suddenly just announced that. It's like Edge and Randy Orton are fighting tonight. And I was like, what? Like the third and final match of this rivalry from the last year, it's just going to be blown off on an episode of Raw, not like a pay-per-view or something. So
more eyes on Raw.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, honestly, I enjoyed this match. How about you? What do you think of this match for the main event?
Very, very good.
Honestly, I think it was probably better than the WrestleMania match. I thought the pace was
it was quick.
Yeah, for a TV match, I thought it was quick pace. Randy was pounding Edge a lot. They went outside. So for how slow WrestleMania match was last year, I mean, the back was a Backlash with the world greatest wrestling match. Mm-hmm. That was the best one out of all these.
Yeah.
But this main event, I really did enjoy it. Now, unfortunately, a little bit of interference at the end. Alexa Bliss comes out, sits on the top rope corner, and does her thing with the black, what do you call it, like goo, slime, black liquid coming out of her mouth.
It's like that, like when Pee-wee gave his neighbor the gum and he spits out that black goo. You know? Kind of like that.
So Randy Orton was distracted, and Edge capitalized and picked up the victory. So I guess for right now, that's the blow off for their rivalry. So I don't know. I was kind of hoping it was going to be for a main event or for a pay-per-view or WrestleMania because of, when Edge got hurt and was out for like the last, 7 months, that we're going to get the payoff at a future pay-per-view. But things change, storylines change, and they're going to go different directions for WrestleMania. And obviously, Randy Orton's still going to be very much busy with The Fiend moving forward. So we'll see how it goes. And then jumping over to NXT this week. So like I said, the Edge story continues. So he appears on NXT. And that was the thing. They just announced it on social media. Oh, yeah, Edge is coming tonight. I was like, what? Oh, man. Like
I was stoked.
Yeah, I was stoked. But I was like, oh, they could have kind of promoted that better on Raw or something the night before. But he kind of...
Well, they didn't promote Randy Orton and Edge on Raw. I kind of like the Maybe this is just what we're supposed to expect, that Edge is back.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool. He showed up at NXT. I mean, he tweeted out, he's like, hey, I'm in Orlando to go see my wife working at NXT. Maybe I'll just show up on TV. So he did. And so it was really cool. So he
got a great promo.
Yeah, he cuts out for a promo, and he also confronts Finn Balor and Pete Dunne, who are going to be fighting each other for the championship takeover this weekend.
I felt like Edge gave more rubs to people on NXT than he did on Raw and SmackDown.
Yes,
I
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But no, Tommy. So Edge was standing there looking at Pete and Finn.
Yeah.
And you like the promo, right?
Yeah. I mean, just right off the bat, he said, a lot of times in WWE, we put the focus on the E, but here in NXT, the focus is on that second W, and that's fun. That's what I really enjoyed about that promo.
I really like this promo because Edge said he watched the show for years. He loved the passion from the roster.
And it motivated him.
The hunger from the NXT roster. And yeah, it really helped him find his passion to get back in his own wrestling career after being gone for 9 years. And then, the both guys are staring at him. And he says by winning the Royal Rumble, he can challenge any champion in the company. And so it got a lot of people questioning, like, ooh, what does this mean? He told Pete Dunne he sees a lot of himself in Pete.
Yeah.
For Finn, he says Finn's performing in a different zone, and he's just very special to watch. So Edge just pretty much put Finn and Pete on notice, and he's going to be watching their takeover match. And he did point out he's never had the NXT championship in his career, which the championship didn't really exist when he retired the first time, right? Yeah. So that's why he never had a chance to get it.
Right.
So he says, he pointed to Finn Balor in the championship. He says, who knows? Maybe I can go after that title for WrestleMania. So
that's intriguing, he said.
Yeah, Richard, what do you think? I mean, the odds of him actually going for the NXT championship probably slim to none, but it's still fun to think of the possibility.
Okay. So I really thoroughly enjoyed Edge on all 3 shows this week because, and I think they should do this every year with the Royal Rumble winner and have them kind of like campaign with each show as to which one you might want to see them on, because it was just kind of, I didn't see he went face to face with 5 people. And with all 5 of them, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that just seeing the visual of them face to face. Edge and Drew McIntyre, Edge and Finn Balor, Edge and Pete Dunne, Edge and Karrion Kross, Edge and Roman Reigns. It's just like all of those are like really interesting to me.
Yeah, it was really cool that he really put over NXT as far as what you said, Tommy. He likes that NXT focuses on the second W, wrestling, while the other 2 shows really focus more on the E, the entertainment side of things. And so, regardless if he actually will ever go for the NXT championship, what he said, though, I really did enjoy. And just put over NXT as a brand overall and what these 2 guys in the title scene are doing. So regardless, like I said, who knows if he'll ever make another appearance on NXT, but as far as what he said, I think has a lot of weight to it, and I think a lot of fans will use that to really defend NXT and why it's such a great show. So I really enjoyed that. It would be cool maybe if he did have a match at NXT one day. I don't know, but I think they're really busy with other people. I think Edge has a bigger championships to go after. But one thing, as you just touched on, Richard, it was very cool. So Edge was leaving the Capitol Wrestling Center, and Karrion Kross comes up and confronts him outside. They have a little stare down, and I don't know, man. Like, I was like, this could be potentially cool. I mean, Edge
potentially. Potentially. It would be awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, Edge has experience, with Randy Orton, and Karrion Kross gets a lot of comparisons to Randy Orton as far as his style. So, who knows? I mean, this could be like an Easter egg for a year from now or something. Like, who knows the timeline? I mean, I see online people are predicting maybe Karrion Kross can win the Royal Rumble next year, and maybe he can go on the WrestleMania. That's like an early bet already for next year from now. But anyway, I'm just saying for Edge,
God,
it'd be cool at some point. Maybe Karrion Kross and Edge cross paths at some point. I know Edge, his big thing with this.
I want to see Karrion Kross retire Edge.
Ooh, that would be interesting. I know for Edge, like at this point in his career, he really wants to have like these dream matches that he didn't think he would ever have before. So
get those out of the way and then get Cross in there.
And the Cross can be the last one.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. I'm all for that.
And then Cross can retire Randy. We'll just go down the list.
Yeah, exactly. Also, one little thing I want to touch on. There was a rumor, I guess, for WrestleMania this year. It's going to be 2 nights, as I said. We've talked about this many times. So the rumor is they want Finn Balor to defend the NXT Championship at WrestleMania as well. Well, I guess I should say whoever NXT champion is, because we don't know. Finn could maybe lose the title before then. So with that being said, are you, Richard, for the idea of the NXT Championship being defended on one of the nights at WrestleMania this year?
Sure. I don't care.
I'm all for it because you think about it.
Well, it depends on the match. Depends on the match. I wouldn't mind. I mean, we're assuming Finn Balor is going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was Cross, I'd be into it. Because Cross is made for that WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah, that entrance, see it on a big stage, that'd be great.
Whew.
Even from a bunch of cardboard cutouts. So, no, but I'll be for that. I think it'd be cool because last year, okay, so takeovers used to be the same weekend of like all the big 4 pay-per-views for WrestleMania, or excuse me, for WWE. Now, 2020, they kind of separate themselves and do it on their own separate weekends, which is cool. I mean, to kind of really make themselves stand on their own as their own brand. But I do miss when they're the same weekend of like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, because it makes it like for an action-packed weekend of Saturday and Sunday, like all this wrestling in one weekend makes a lot of fun. But last year, WrestleMania, when it was 2 nights, you know, they had, remember, Rhea defend the NXT Women's Championship against Charlotte one night. So that was cool. NXT, even though they didn't have a takeover that weekend, they did have a presence at WrestleMania. So maybe they're going to try to do the same thing this year, but on the men's side of things. So I mean, I'm all for that. I don't know. I would love to see maybe Finn Balor defend the NXT Championship against Walter, the NXT UK champion. That could be a cool powerhouse all-star match. That match was supposed to happen before, was it Finn got hurt?
Yeah.
So maybe, we can have it over on the WrestleMania stage. I'll be all for that, champion versus champion of the NXT brand.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'm all for that. Just like I said, because since TakeOver doesn't happen WrestleMania weekend now, it'd still be cool to have NXT have some presence there on WrestleMania. So all for that. All right, moving on over to Friday Night SmackDown. So we see Roman Reigns come out. He's pretty much just pissed off at Edge because Edge went to Raw first. He went to NXT first. And Roman Reigns, who's the head of the table, the face of WWE, he is pissed that Edge did not come directly to SmackDown first and just challenge him right out of the gate. He felt a little disrespected that he went to all these other shows first. And then he told Paul Heyman to go look, cut his music, hit his music, have Edge come down here now and call him out. So what do you think about this opening segment, Richard, of just Roman Reigns kind of pissed off at Edge here?
I was digging it quite a bit. I really liked how they handled. Is it Jey Uso?
Yeah, Jey Uso.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I get them so confused.
I don't blame
They
you.
are identical.
Yeah.
I liked how he was pacing. He was just ready to jump all over Edge, and when Paul told him to get out, he just kind of dropped out and was just like, stormed out of there. But and I like that Roman raised his voice. Like he wasn't Mr. Calm, Cool, and Collective. He was like
shouting.
Like pissed. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is we're starting to see a little bit different side of Roman as this heel persona, but also what I like about him calling him out was it gives motivation for Roman Reigns because he's like, I'm the main event. I'm the number one guy in this company. How dare Edge not come directly to me first? So I really enjoyed that Roman Reigns has motivation to be pissed off at Edge. Now, granted, Edge and him didn't have much interaction, so jumping ahead to the end of the show. So after a great Intercontinental Triple Threat match between Big E, Apollo, and Sami Zayn.
Really good match.
That was a really good match, and I mean, I can see all them keeping that feud going for a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best Apollo Crews match I think I've seen.
Exactly. But at the same time, I want to see him still continue working with Roman Reigns. I don't want that to end. Like we saw him backstage a few weeks ago. I hope they keep that storyline going. I hope Roman Reigns like takes him under his wing and kind of grooms him to be like a second in command after Jey Uso or something, you know, part of his posse, where you want to call his faction.
Yeah.
So Edge comes out to cut a promo, and we think maybe he's going to make a decision, but Roman Reigns comes out and gets in his face and told him to acknowledge him, like respect. So big thing, Roman Reigns, his character is like he's the number one person in the company. He wants respect from people. He wants people to acknowledge him as the top dog. So Edge, we weren't sure how he was going to respond, but then all of a sudden Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere and stuns Roman Reigns and into the show. And so Edge did not give an answer. Kevin Owens is back. So I don't know, man, Richard, like I'm kind of confused. So I get it. Edge probably going to stretch. They're going to stretch this out until he makes an official decision. We still got 2 months till WrestleMania, so
let him milk it.
Yeah, he's going to milk it, and I wouldn't be surprised if he appears on all the shows multiple times to really just kind of.
And I would not have a problem with that.
Yeah, figure it out. But at the same time, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns again. It's like, Kevin, you've lost 3 times to Roman Reigns in the last month.
Well, and if he's still going for him, then you got to assume he's going to be the one to beat him.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But if he's going to beat him like they've done Last Man Standing, Ladder, and what? Singles match, or just a regular singles match? So what?
Roman and Kevin had the TLC match. They had the steel cage match on Christmas.
Yeah,
and then Last Man Standing at Royal Rumble. So they've had 3 matches in the last like 5 weeks.
So we could probably assume that at WrestleMania we're going to get KO and Roman in a Hell in a Cell.
It'd be cool.
Likely,
I mean, no, it'd be cool if they do a Hell in a Cell, but I wonder if Vince and them are like, no, Hell in a Cell is that one dedicated October pay-per-view now.
What about Undertaker and Shane at WrestleMania?
Was that one? Was that a Hell in a Cell, that one?
Were you there in Texas?
No, I wasn't there for that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
Shane jumped off the cage.
Oh, that's right. But it was before they had the pay-per-view, I believe, on a regular basis. So, no, what I guess for me... Okay, how about this? Now, let's look at the week in review now. Out of the 3 people he confronted, Drew, WWE Champion, Finn, NXT Champion, Roman, Universal Champion. Out of those 3, which one do you think makes sense for Edge to challenge?
I want to say Drew, because I feel like Roman has Kevin. Who does Drew really have? Because like Randy's looks like he's going with the Fiend and whatever that new incarnation of the Fiend is.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Sheamus is going to be one of the next 2 pay-per-views, if not both of the next pay-per-views.
I know. So, there's still so much time to WrestleMania. They still got Elimination Chamber in a couple weeks. They got Fastlane in the March. So there's still a lot of time to build for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
They're all matches I want to see, but at the same time, I gotta think that he's going to be on Raw, because Raw 1 needs it. And there's a lot of people I could see that Edge would want to have matches with, like AJ.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
It's so tough. How about Tommy? Do you have any particular favorite out of those 3 champions?
I think it's Drew McIntyre because the thing with McIntyre had with Goldberg, you know, how he didn't respect the legends or whatever like that. And you could probably fit that storyline perfectly with Edge. I think Edge would buy into that.
Edge could spin it around and be like, hey, I saw what you did with Goldberg, but you won't do the same to me.
So that's how I feel.
For me, I think I still want to see him versus Roman. I think, I think out of the 3 promos, the SmackDown stuff was probably the weakest this week as far as motivation. Mm-hmm. But I think as far as dynamic and building that up, as far as Roman and his character and Edge, I think that would be more compelling emotionally for me.
Yeah. Now,
is Roman going to really drop the title at WrestleMania? I mean, he did win it at not SummerSlam. The week after on Payback. A week later. Yeah. So he won it end of August. So if he loses it at WrestleMania, that's almost an 8-month title reign.
Yeah. I think
I don't know. I still me personally, I think Roman Reigns will be the better opponent out of those 3, but I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see how this goes. I mean, there's still a lot of time, and like I said, I think the Edge is really going to stretch it out. But I did like seeing him appear on all 3 shows. It was made for very fun, and I like he's Royal Rumble champion or winner. He can go around just tease the idea of I'll challenge you, or maybe I'll challenge you. So good stuff. One last thing. So Bianca Belair came out for an interview, and same situation. Who's she going to challenge for after winning the Women's Royal Rumble? Sasha Banks come out. Carmella came out. So they're both kind of, Carmella was telling, Bianca, you shouldn't go after Sasha. You're going to lose, or put it in her head. So I don't know. Do you think Bianca's going to go after Sasha, or do you see her go over to Raw and maybe challenging Asuka?
See, this one's tougher.
Really?
Because of experience level. With Edge would be going against any 3 competitors of a high level of experience, where Bianca is the least experienced of the champions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, part of me wonders if I feel like Io Shirai's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Ooh, what if Bianca goes back to NXT and be like, I never won this title.
I don't think they are, though, with the rocket they've attached to her. But I also don't. You kind of almost have to think it's going to be Fox or Raw or SmackDown, sorry, because they've been hyping her so much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could see them wanting to do Io Shirai and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
do you have Asuka be the one? Because, or does it turn to a multi-person match where maybe somehow Charlotte becomes the champion and Asuka gets a rematch, but Bianca decides that she's going to throw herself in the match as well. So now you have a 3-way.
Yeah,
that could work.
So many possibilities. I mean, I'm really intrigued seeing Sasha versus Bianca Belair, just as far as their athleticism going at it. That could be really fun. But Bianca, versus Asuka could be a lot of fun. I'm just worried that
my money's Bianca and Charlotte. I think would be the best.
Interesting.
Match.
Okay, so you're saying at some point over the next couple months, Asuka's probably going to drop the title to Charlotte, and then Bianca can go after Charlotte.
That's what I want to see, and it's not because I don't like Asuka, just because I think that Bianca and Charlotte, being the crazy athletes that they both are, not wrestlers but athletes, like that's Rock and Austin right there.
Yeah. Man, so many possibilities. So, I mean, we got plenty of time to see how these storylines play out. So, should be a lot of fun, man. We are on the road to WrestleMania. Overall, I did enjoy, like I said, Edge just appearing all 3 shows. And I hope he does that on a more regular basis. I think as an old veteran, he can just drift from show to show, appear and talk to different people. He could be kind of like a teacher, mentor for some of these guys, just appearing here and there. So that's a lot of fun. So,
and also I want to mention, I'm really digging Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher as a tag team right now in NXT.
Yes.
That's been a lot of fun too. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about because they have their matchup this week. And who knows, knock on wood, maybe they'll be in the finals at TakeOver for the Dusty Cup Classic. So a lot of good stuff, man. Looking forward to this week in wrestling as well. And we'll have another fun episode next weekend recapping TakeOver and all the other busy stuff going on this week in WWE.